bit. We are doing the top 10 for the divisional era. That's 1969 on. So we have a very different pool of players. Last time around, last year, we did the live ball era. That was 100 years. Bob Costas this time. It is 50 years of baseball. And I like this list. I think that the top 10 for catchers from 1969 on, I think it's a good group. It fits perfectly. It's not especially deep. I don't know if I would have wanted to go to 11 to 20, but 1 through 10 are the big stars that we grew up with.
Yeah, here's what's interesting, BK. We have the exact same 10 players, somewhat different order, but our top 10 includes all the same players. And I'm with you. I'm not experiencing any angst about who's left out. My 11th guy was Jorge Posada, a very estimable player, but I don't think he cracks that list. And so it's not as deep, but it's very strong as far as it goes.
Now, I have not seen Bob Costas's list. We did not swap lists. He did see mine, so that's why he's able to say that. But I have not seen his. So, Bob, give it to us. Give us your top 10 at catcher.
All right, we both have Johnny Bench number 1. I have Pudge Rodriguez number 2. Mike Piazza is a monster offensively, but not as good defensively as either Bench or Rodriguez, so that puts him 3rd. I was persuaded by the batting title, so Joe Mauer is 4th. Gary Carter and Carlton Fisk, same era, flip a coin. I got Carter 5th and Fisk 6th. Yadier Molina, I think, will have a strong Hall of Fame case. He has been a very important player over the course of a long period of time for the Cardinals, and the pitchers swear by him. It's not just the Gold Gloves, it's the receiving skills, it's all those little subtle things that go into it, and a decent offensive player as well. Buster Posey, past MVP, is number 8. Ted Simmons, an offensive giant during his period of time, especially when you consider what the offensive norms were during his era, and Thurman Munson, number 10.
All right. Yeah, same players that I had, exactly. But we have some major differences. Here's my top 10 first, Bob. Johnny Bench, obviously, is number 1. I will, with the offensive capability, put Mike Piazza 2. I think Gary Carter is just one of the all-time greats. And he's given a lot of retroactive defensive metric help here as well. But he was regarded that way. Carlton Fisk with the longevity. Thurman Munson, here's where we differ quite a bit. See, the more I look at Thurman Munson and what he did in his career, his offense and then his playoff record is staggering. Also, his caught stealing percentage. He shut down the running game. He does. Now, Pudge Rodriguez has that reputation. Munson does not. Munson and Pudge Rodriguez, their offensive numbers are not even close. I really wondered where you're going to put Buster Posey. So I have Posey 7th. I thought it would have been higher, but right now his career has kind of really, gone south. His offense is not there. Ted Simmons, great offensive player, now a Hall of Famer. I'm with you on Yadier Molina. I struggle given the bat, but I hear you. And Joe Mauer, see, that puzzles me. You had Mauer where, at 4th or 5th? I got him in on the offense.
Yeah, I elevated him. Yeah. I elevated him because of the batting titles, but a good defensive catcher as well. I mean, not in the Bench Rodriguez class, but good. Not in the Molina class, but good.
Yeah, I held it against him with his catching ability and then did not have the longevity as a lot of these guys who just stayed behind the plate and took their pounding. So Thurman Munson, to me, Bob, you're a little low on Munson. Did you take a second look at just how good of an offensive player he was and how he shut down the running game?
Shutting down the running game is key, although the running game, I guess during that period of time, the running game mattered, certainly more than it does today. I can't put an argument against it or mount an argument against it. He's on both our lists. It's only a matter of where we place him. He was a very important player. He was a gritty player. Who knows, he might have, were it not for a tragedy, he might have added significantly to his career totals. He was a great postseason player. He lands in the middle of an era, roughly speaking, that includes some all-time great guys. Bench is a contemporary, and Fisk and Carter. So perhaps he was underrated for that reason. Remember in the '76 World Series when the Reds swept the Yankees and Munson had the best World Series of any of the Yankees, and Billy Martin or someone said some good things about Thurman Munson, and Sparky Anderson, who was always generous, said, "Don't you dare compare anyone to Johnny Bench." And Thurman Munson was very offended by that. But I think in a certain sense, he is perhaps underrated because he was overshadowed by the giant names that were contemporaries of his at the same position.
Yeah, the number one catcher of all time was playing in that World Series against him. And Munson hit, like, I'm guessing, it's off the top of my head, like 533 in that World Series. And he hit at every level, Bob. Like, every series, he hit for average, he hit for power. The guy was, and I'll use this, and I hope all our sabermetric friends understand what I'm saying, but there is something to it. He was a winner. Right? There was something that was that, and as catcher, like if you're going to talk about Yadier Molina, there are great intangibles that you're bringing to the field as a catcher. I thought Munson was one of those guys, and I agree with you. Maybe Molina, I'm still looking too much at the offense. I should be looking more at him calling a game, you know, calling the pitches and working with the pitchers.
Yeah, I can tell you this. As a guy who spent a lot of time around St. Louis, Molina is revered, not just respected, but revered as a teammate, as a receiver. You look at the difference in ERAs between the games Molina catches, and he has been a workhorse, but the small number of games caught by others, there's a significant difference every season and over the course of his career between when Molina catches, same pitchers, Molina catches, and anybody else.
Let me ask you this. Buster Posey, are we doing enough for Buster Posey here, given that only a few of these guys would ever be considered the best player in his league at any given time? Posey was that guy for 3 or 4 years. I mean, best player in the National League. Do you think Posey should move up on our lists?
No, because that's counterbalanced by the fact that there's a fall off. So you have to consider overall, you have to consider peak. There's so many different criteria you can apply here. But I think we've got Posey in about the right place. You've got him 7th. I've got him 8th.
All right. Johnny Bench, number 1. I believe number 1 on our list for the live ball era. For the last 100 years, it was Bench and Yogi. Here, we're doing 1969 and up. No Yogi, and Johnny Bench is number 1. Bob, thank you so much.
Okay, BK.